we're still working with functions, but for these types of problems, we're going to be doing what we call operations and compositions. Now, composition means that we are putting two different functions together. Operations means that we're going to be adding and subtracting these functions to each other. So, all we're going to be doing is examples for these problems, or for this section. So, we're going to be working with two functions in this example. F of x, which equals negative 3 to the 1/3 plus 4 to the 1/2. And we also have g of x, which is 5x to the 1/3 plus 4x to the 1/2. Okay, so I'm just giving you these two functions. This is what we're working with. So example 1, I want to know what g of x plus f of x is, and then we're going to state the domain. So what we're going to do is for g of x, we're going to just plug in 5x to the 1/3 plus 4x to the 1/2 plus f of x. So that's going to be plus negative 3x to the 1/3 plus 4x to the 1/2. Okay. Now, when I have a positive in front of the parentheses, what do I need to do with this guy? I distribute it. Does distributing a positive change anything? No. So what I'm going to do next is combine my like terms. Where are my like terms? We have 5x to the 1/3 and negative 3x to the 1/3. What does that give me? 2x to the 1/3. And then we also have positive 4x to the 1/2 and positive 4x to the 1/2. So that gives me plus 8x to the 1/2. Okay, we're also asked, though, in this problem to state the domain. So what would the domain be? Okay, domain, remember, is all x's that make this possible. But we have to look at our problem here. I see something in here that's going to cause a problem for all real numbers. Does anybody else see what it is? It's this right here. If I'm raising something to the 1/2, what am I actually doing? Taking the square root. If I want only real answers, can I have a negative in the square root? No, it has to be. If I have a negative in a square root, that means my answer is going to be imaginary, right? We only want real numbers in this case. So our domain is going to be all non-negative, which is the same as what? All non-negative real numbers. Non-negative means the same as what? Positive. Okay, so here is our new function. Our domain of this guy is all non-negative real numbers. What if this 2 was a 5? Then what would my answer be? All reals. Okay, so we have to take the most restrictive domain. If we were just at 2x to the 1/3, our answer would be all real numbers, because I can have a negative in a cube root, right? We just did it on the board. I can't have a negative in a square root. So since this square root is restricted, the whole thing has to be restricted. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's try another one. G of x minus f of x. Okay, so we're going to use the same f of x and g of x. So this is going to be 5x to the 1/3 plus 4x to the 1/2 minus, this time, negative 3x to the 1/3 plus 4x to the 1/2. So what do I need to do first in this case? Good, distribute that negative. And then we just do the exact same thing. So my new thing is going to be, let's rewrite this, 4x to the 1/2. And this changes to plus 3x to the 1/2, or to the 1/3, minus 4x to the 1/2, correct? And when I combine those guys, what do I get? 8x to the 1/3. And that's it, because those guys cancel each other out. Okay, so my answer here is 8x to the 1/3. So what would the domain of this one be? It would be all reals. I can plug in any real number, all reals. We also say use the symbol. This stands for the set of real numbers. Okay. I can plug in any number for x and it's going to give me a real answer. Okay, because we can plug negatives in when our root is an odd number. Does that make sense?
On the first one, if it has a negative in it, so you can't remember.
On the first one, this part is all reals, right? This part is only positive numbers, so we have to take the most restrictive one. For the whole thing, we can only use positive. Does that make sense? Kind of.
I'll get it wrong.
Okay. Let's look at example 3. Yeah. Okay, so we have a new f of x and a new g of x in this case. F of x is 4x to the 2/3, and g of x is 5x to the 1/2. Now this is a typo. I wanted to multiply f of x times f of x. Okay. So I'm just going to plug both of those in. So this is the same as, move it up a little, 4x to the 2/3 times 4x to the 2/3. Okay, what does that give me? 4 times 4 gives me 16. X to the, what do I do with my exponents? I add them. So what's 2/3 plus 2/3? 4/3. So 2/3 plus 2/3 gives me 4/3. And I can leave my answer as that. What's my domain? This is an odd number, so it's going to be all reals. You can put the symbol, you can write all reals, you can write all real numbers.
If it's positive, it's just going to be all reals except for negative?
If it's odd.
No, I mean if it's, even if it's going to be all positives, right?
All positive real numbers. So you would say all non-negative real numbers?
And then
Or you can say all positive reals. Okay? You guys okay so far? Okay. We're going to use the same f of x and g of x, but this time I am dividing them. So g of x divided by f of x.